What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of 4 Dummies, and tonight I'm joined with the other 3 dummies. I have Mrs. Skullface.
Hello.
Mr. Just One.
Yo, what's happening?
And Mr. Robert Detoff.
Ow.
And tonight we are going to continue with another edition of Collection Critique. You know the routine. Check your feelings at the door. They have no place here. We are going to give our very honest opinions on all of this stuff. If you'd like the unfiltered opinions of those critiques, go ahead and join the Patreon at $5 a month, where you can get this and Sit Down Saturday and a ton of other things. And if you'd like to submit your collection, you can check out the Instagram for Bobby Skullface. DM me, ask about getting on the show, and I will give you the instructions to do so, and we'll move forward. We're going to start tonight with an entry, Daniel S. And Daniel, no disrespect to you, but like, first picture, television on top of like some sort of cube set up from Target, and the figures are not on risers. They're dark as my mother's soul, and they're stacked in these front to back. I can't make out anything that's going on, and you got Metroplex on bended knee like Boys to Men to the right. I don't get it. Second picture, you have a little bookcase. It looks like maybe a Little Billy. It's filled with books to the back. There's figures in front of it. That's not the way to do that. Figures need to have their own space with the books. Don't fill the books all the way left to right. Give space for the figures. The only thing that I find remotely charming is you have the G1 Constructicons down at the bottom, which always look good lined up next to each other.
I like this roll that you're on. Keep going.
Okay, fair enough. I'll move on to the next one. So you got these movie figures on the next one. On the top, I'll be honest with you, I don't think this Billy looked good enough for you to take a picture of the whole Billy. You have a ton of hodgepodge movie stuff sitting on the top shelf with the Bumblebee that I don't quite understand sitting above it. And it just doesn't make any sort of statement. And here's the thing. I made a note to myself in this post that you sent a very long paragraph. And I'll tell you where I sit honestly. I sit in a place where my soul is telling me maybe it was about a kid. And maybe he had set this up for his kid and he was trying to make me understand that. Moving on to the next pick. A random assortment of robots sitting along a window shelf with a blue blanket sitting on top of a vent. Let some cold air in there. Cool off this room. I don't think you're inherently a person that doesn't understand what looks good and what doesn't look good. I'm erring on the side of caution that maybe this is in regard to a kid, but like, it's just things on flat places.
What is up with this light bulb candle thing?
Oh, is that what that is? Hubba bubba.
I've never seen anything like that. Yeah.
And again, yeah, you may have to get you right. It may not be for your kid, but almost the collection, the figures themselves are like skewed for younger people. Like that Bumblebee that was on the top shelf is definitely not like, it's like one of those like $5 things or whatever.
Do you have any advice, Laura?
It's rough. I mean, I think the simplest advice is the advice we give everybody. Like, I think that's a calyx maybe actually that the TV's sitting on, but some risers, some lights, the bookshelf. Yeah, it's too many books with characters or toys. I gotta break it up. The books can't go all the way across. It needs some. It needs some TLC.
The Metroplex looks better than yours, Bobby.
Well, that may be true. That may be true. Moving on to the next entry. This is Trev. So Trev has a shed that's an exterior building from his house where this collection is kept. And he was actually featured, I think, in some sort of Australian article about his collection. And somebody told him that he should submit his collection to the Dummies, is my understanding. And he did. And I think he sent a ton of pictures, and I asked him to limit it to 6 to 8.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. I mean,
there's obviously, I think we can... there are certain categories of collectors, right? It's not just, toy people versus community people. You also have people who display just to show you how much they've collected, just how much stuff they have. How much can I cram into an entire space to show you how many toys I have? And this is one of those
I think this is, I don't know if it's one of like, hey, look at how much stuff I can cram in here. I just think this is one of those fanatical Transformer people. It's just like, nope, look, I love Transformers and I'm getting every...
And I fucking got it all.
Yeah. I don't even know that I see anything third party in here. I think it's all just mainline stuff.
And so, I mean, obviously he has a lot of stuff. But like, with all due respect, I don't care. We've seen collections with minimal stuff.
right,
that have been presented in a way
exactly.
that's better than this. Like I think that this is a gift and a curse.
Why would you have utility shelves, first of all?
He obviously cares, right? Because they're not sloppy in there. They're neat. They're organized. Like, I do respect that. But, like, you remember Batman 89 when they find themselves in that room with the suits of armor, and Alex, I think is his name, says to Vicky, he's like, remember, the more they have, the less they're worth.
right.
That's what this reminds me of. Like,
Nothing screams my collection's in a shed more than you're displaying your stuff on utility shelves. Why are you doing that?
so that's another
Because now
thing,
I
right?
can
Is
see
like
that-
is like just the kind of fundamental like choices being made. Like, you have spent a ton of money on this stuff, my guy. Get some proper shelving.
We don't need to see the
But that's what I'm saying.
the metal frame, the metal walls, of your shed that detracts from it too.
We've transitioned slowly into people that are creating a space for aesthetics, and then you have, which is fine. And so that's why I don't have any advice for this guy, because that's not his. This isn't that guy's purpose. This guy, aesthetics isn't a big deal to him. It's about the amassing the stuff.
Yes,
And
he
so then
doesn't.
I say for him, then sorry, go ahead.
No. I think you're right.
Right.
The only thing that he cares about is that you know how much he has,
Right.
but that doesn't make it look good.
No, right. And that's why I think so. Like, I have nothing to offer you because you're not in it for the same reason that I'm in it. So all I can say is, all right, cool, good job. You got a ton of stuff.
You don't
Unicron. That's the one thing I point out every time.
Times two.
Yeah, times two. But yeah, cool. You got all this stuff, man, and it is put in there, and it does at least, like, we've seen people that amass this much stuff, and it looks like a nightmare. And
Worse. We've seen people do this, do worse for sure.
Yeah, so it's like, all right, cool. Yeah, you got a ton of stuff. It is impressive. I could see why somebody would do a show on it. It is an impressive space, and you go in there and it looks nice and cared for. But for me, it doesn't do anything for me because I'm about the space, and this isn't a space that I want to hang out in. And I think that this dude did put in some care. There's some people
for sure. But I'm saying, like, this is more so what I think is the flex here. It's the fact that he has a space for a collection that's this size.
Right. I think the coolest thing is the stuff that's on the ceiling.
Yeah.
I think the best approach he had he put black boarding up so that he could, tack up or nail up his card backs, whatever those are, in boxes.
Oh, go
It's
ahead.
a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. Yeah. It's hard to
I mean,
it's hard to take any of it in when there's this much. He clearly has displayed it with care, but it's just too much.
Yeah, this is the type of collection like that makes a non-collector stop. But as a collector and a curator of just my living space, it's not interesting to me.
So you can improve it by putting that black backing behind everything.
Right. Well, I think here's a perfect example. So, like, this Unicron that's in planet mode on the table, you can see where Ultra Magnus is like shooting up in the air, and it looks like it's like recreating the poster a little bit. And I get that from a Transformers fan. Like, I can see what you're doing, but it's lost even on me as a person that understands what you're doing. Like, anybody else that's walking in there, it's
not going
never going to get it, and it's not going to hit. You know what I mean? So it's like, my thing is like, it's just a waste of the effort. But also, there's too much stuff. You have too much stuff that, like, I don't even know how you could display this. I guess maybe, honestly, maybe the only thing that would may kick it up a notch is if you really put in like some glass display cases and you really went that route with it instead of these utility shelves. But
I think really you have to
what's
thin
the
it.
point?
I think you have to thin it out.
Oh, for
In
sure.
the herd.
But that's not the advice that this.
Yeah,
guy
that's
needs.
not his game.
He's
playing volume.
He's not looking for that.
So I think Jisk is right. Like, in order to make this feel right volume wise, you need to give the same importance that you place upon quantity, you need to place upon quality of furniture.
Yep.
And if you do that, you're going to have a killer setup because you've got the space, you've got the quantity.
I mean, unless this guy is like 4.5 feet tall, I think he's using those giant shelves because they can hold so much. But that's the wrong decision. Sure, we all need the furniture to house and display our things properly, but just because it can doesn't mean it's right.
And I know he's proud of it because he put himself in the picture. I understand why. I understand why he's proud of it. And he should be proud of what he has amassed, but he's got to work on how to present it.
Well, for me, the most interesting thing about this is the dude. I want to talk to that dude.
Yeah, agreed. I would talk to him in a heartbeat. I would sit down with this dude in a heartbeat. There needs to be more. Let's move on. And our next entry is Brian M. So my first impressions are, why a futon?
Yeah.
But moving on, the futon is matching the way I feel about a lot of this stuff. Let me tell you what I think the best thing you've got going on is your short circuit shelf. It looks fantastic. It's the perfect display piece for it. You got the little thing at the bottom. You got the 3 short circuits on top. The middle one is the taller one. You got the 2 smaller ones flanking it. That is, without a doubt, confidently the best short circuit display I have ever seen. And yes, that is a joke because we haven't seen any others, but it's also the truth because I think it looks
True.
I think it looks good.
What's up with people not using the top third of their space?
Yeah.
Like, it just seems so apparent to me, like, when, like, you're not using tall figures, like, for example, the Dinobots on this one shelf. You need something that's going to take up, like, what do you do with all that space above it? That's where you'd put a tall figure that at least takes up the space. It's okay to go to the ceiling. I guess that's what I'm saying.
I like the turtle
It's
shelf,
also-
like the Michelangelo and Donatello down at the bottom and Leonardo and Raphael at the top. Like, I think that's so. I think that works.
It's fine.
What's all this
Yeah,
stuff
but
in
they're
the...
coming off as like shoved down at the bottom instead of like this.
Yeah, I agree, but to me, it like I think when I see it, it's almost reminiscent of me to like their chest, like with the grid, like
Right.
2 and 2. Like
Okay.
it just seems like an appropriate place for some turtles, and I think they look good on it.
Okay.
Right.
What up? You know what? Those boxes, though. Those boxes. I think that might be part of the reason why that Dinobot display looks so empty on top because it's so heavy visually at the bottom, full of stupid boxes.
Yeah, I agree.
You get rid of your box.
I guess, yeah, furniture update. That's what you need. You need a furniture update.
Yeah,
It's in the window. What's
and
in the
I think
window?
I think you also need to ask yourself what it is that you're trying to do. Like, you don't have a ton of space, and that's fine. But in that, you got some legends, you got some masterpiece. Like, I think there's nothing wrong with a display area of this size, but you need to make some decisions as to what is the priority for you. And then pick that and go with it. I think you could have a very impressive Legends collection or a very impressive Masterpiece collection, but because you have both, and this is the space that you have to display it, neither one of them look great. The 2 small collections that you have, this Movie Turtles collection and this Short Circuit collection, they look great.
You know, it may look better if you took all those Dinobots and put them on those shelves where the Legends, like swap them with the Devastator Legend stuff on that shelf over there. I don't know if they would fit, but it just feels like it would balance out better.
Yeah, I don't know if those floating shelves work for Legends. There's way too much space everywhere, and they're crammed at the same time.
And he's a big Delaware guy, and I respect the Mid-Atlantic, but your pizza sucks.
With his face underneath the short circuit. Oh, is that the remote for one of them? Is one of them? It must be.
I think so. Like, that all works for me. Yeah, like the Short Circuit display is my favorite.
I think it looks. I feel like you could have a better table for that. I think like that's probably. I think the thing this guy's probably the most proud of. Or
Yeah,
gal.
he's got his masterpiece displayed on a desk. And, you know, it's just, you can't, it's wrong, man. It's just.
I think
I
2
was gonna
small
get a knock on
tables
his
that
door.
close together is also like feels just like too much.
Yeah.
So I think if we could move the turtles to a different location, that would make it feel a little less like
Yeah, that's fair.
junky.
You cannot display your Transformers on a computer desk. It's just absurd.
So I think you
care
can
how nice your
I think you
computer
can
desk is.
display some. I think you can display some. I think Masterpiece is not the right choice. Computer.
Yeah, I
desk.
mean, dedicating the computer desk, say this is no longer a computer desk. This is the ultimate Transformers display for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, this for somebody who's just using what he's got, but it's time to update. If you're going to get serious
Yeah,
about
look-
this, you got to get some furniture.
It's clean. It's well kept. You just need to make some furniture choices. I like that's what it is.
Yep.
And your Short Circuit display is awesome. Move on to the last entry of the night. This is Graham G. It's kind of the stuff that we're more used to seeing. Just a big Billy conglomerate of figures.
Conglomerate.
Look at the sword on that Pharaoh. Is that the sword always that big on Pharaoh Rex?
I don't know. That's a big sword. on
When
it.
he's
That's a
happy.
big sword, man. I remember if that's the case, I remember the sword being so cool. It was such a great idea. But if that's how big it is, and I'm just remembering wrong, like that's
He had a gigantic sword. That might be the oversized or something. KO.
This is like one of those classic, like you need lights. Just
you need some art. I know a guy.
yeah, you need some art.
I like obviously the hanging stuff in some of those shells. Like I think that's kind of clever to like take up some of the height of space where the figures are not quite that tall.
Yeah. If these are
in the
Billies, you
shelf.
need Billy toppers.
Right,
I don't think
especially if
they're
you can put them sideways. I know a guy who puts them sideways on the ground.
If you look at the main collection, if you look at like he's got it dialed in size wise, so to speak, like that all the way to the right, small little shelf tucks in right inside the framing, and I know when that fit, he was like, "Oh, I got it," and I respect that.
Right.
But like, I'm not mad at that, but like, it just needs lights, art, or toppers, or more like spreading out. Like the layout of the furniture doesn't bother me, but how the figures are displayed within that furniture is what bothers me.
I agree. I think because Predator King needs to go up to be the highest thing. Like you're diminishing the presence of that piece by keeping it in the little cutout. It should go where to the left, I guess, where that chrome dome looking thing is. Maybe that's an old Computron, but it needs to go there.
I don't like the center of this. The center is weird with the empty backing. 1, 2, 3 pieces.
Yeah, that weird. The layout in the middle is weird. That it
The
doesn't have
layout
the
in the middle is weird,
And then what's the gap between the top and the bottom
and
one?
then no backing in that upper L.
Right.
Yeah, you could have gone with something even taller than the other ones. If those are Billies, the middle one can have the topper.
I don't mind the shape of it, like the way that it's like when you look at zoom out and you look at the whole picture. I just think it's that center one just needs to be tweaked a bit. And I honestly would do it where like, all right, take this one that has the no backing and put that at the bottom, and then move the smaller one up above that.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just weighted weird.
Yeah, he's got a great space for it. Like he's got this whole huge wall. It might. Like this is gonna hurt. I know it's gonna hurt, but it might be best to rethink. Like take graph paper, bust it out, look at your furniture, like take full advantage of that space. It's a lot of space.
Yeah, like he's got that much space and a lot of crowding and a lot of gaps.
Yeah, a lot of gaps.
You can't do that.
I like that he put the Transformers Platinum Edition Omega Supreme box in a frame.
You can do more with this space. Like Robert said, like some figures are crowded, some are like widely, awkwardly spaced. You have the space on this wall. You could do something huge with it, like disconnect from what you have, rethink, reappropriate, and map it out. Like you can do something great here. Like you're fortunate. You're fortunate that you have this amount of blank wall space. That's no joke. Like sort it out.
He might need lights. The Bobby approach and just take everything off.
Well, that's what I was just going to say. Right. Because you need lights, taking everything off, it's not going to seem like a chore because you're like, hey, I got to take everything off to put lights in it. And then just start putting stuff in and just get different with it.
Yeah.
Delaware pizza.
I need to see the Australian Elvis. And then a nun in a habit that's got a shirt that says bad habit.
Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
Perfect.
Pharaoh Rex's sword. I know you're done, but
Oh, Rex's